on now. We are joined by retired Air Force Lieutenant Colonel Tony Grady. We're going to talk about the situation in the Middle East, and former Special Forces Green Beret Frank LaRose will come on and talk about things happening in Jordan. We have a wonderful program for you tonight. Let's jump into the presidency. So I don't know if you want to maybe get your umbrellas out or maybe head for the shelter, but the sky is falling over at MSNBC because President Biden's poll numbers are still extraordinarily low. Now, why am I phrasing it like that? Well, because they've been low for his entire presidency. He has had record low polling for the entirety of the 3 years he's been in office so far. But now all of a sudden, because he's in re-election mode, the sky is literally crumbling down all around us. Pigs are flying into our windows and nobody can get any fresh coffee at Starbucks. Okay, maybe you can get coffee at Starbucks, but everything else is going to pot and they're upset about it. Now, they're using words like panic. This is not my characterization of the situation. They're using the words panic. They're using the words catastrophic. They're saying something has to change. And so we've seen a few things rolling out. In fact, later in the program, I'm going to be talking to you about what's going on over at The View, because they're now bringing on authors to bash people like me. Now, not me specifically, they don't name me, but I am Black and I am a Republican. And so individuals like myself who write books and talk about politics and, basically I'm living my best life over here. People like me who are not Democrats need to be vilified over the next few months to ensure that Democrats can make sure everyone knows that nothing that we say is the truth. Now, I understand a difference of political viewpoint, but the way they're framing things, the way they're talking about things, it's all connected. It's all a messaging effort. The narrative that they are putting forward for Americans is, number one, you can't trust Black Republicans. Number two, Biden's poll numbers are artificially low. It's not his fault the numbers are low. He's doing a great job. The numbers are low because of Republicans. And also, overarchingly, don't believe your lying eyes. Yeah, things look bad to you, but they're really good because we have the adults in charge. The best people are in charge. The people who are the adults who don't send mean tweets are in charge. Now, Americans know the difference. The kitchen table issues that are going on in the country, the economy, wages, hiring, unemployment, some of those metrics have improved under Biden. We can't deny that. But overall, Americans don't see the bump that they saw during the Trump years financially. And that's the issue. When you tell people you're doing better than you were 4 years ago, and they look at their 401k or they look at their investments, they look at their bank account, look at how much money they're spending on groceries or energy. I know at our house, we had another serious conversation about me running the gas fireplace because the gas bill for last month was huge. My husband said the number, and we were driving along the highway, coming back into town from visiting our daughter, and I almost spit out my matcha green tea latte. I was like, what was that number you just said? I couldn't believe it. We ran the gas fireplace twice. This is the same thing that happened 2 winters ago when we first realized that gas prices for home heating are way up in Missouri and across the country, but specifically in Missouri. Why do I care about it in Missouri? Because that's where I live. That's where I literally live. So back to these poll numbers, I want you to take a look at the panic, the fear, the malaise, all of the pontificating and gesticulating that they're doing over Biden not being popular with people like you and me.
These are some truly stunning numbers.
They really are, Kristen. And let's just start with the bottom line. When you ask folks, hey, if it's the general election and it's Trump versus Biden, in our poll, Donald Trump now leads Joe Biden by 5 points. Compare that to the last time we polled back in November. Trump was ahead then, but it was only by 2 points. It's even more significant when you look at it this way. Over time, we have been testing for 5 years now, going back to 2019, a Biden-Trump matchup. Remember, 2019, 2020, Joe Biden led. He led big in every single one of our polls. For the first time in November, Donald Trump polled ahead in our poll, and now at 5 points, this is the biggest lead NBC has ever had in 16 polls for Donald Trump over Joe Biden. And of course, undergirding all of this is this question of he's the incumbent, Joe Biden. We ask voters, what do you think of the job he's doing? And look at that, Kristen, 37% approve and now 60% disapprove.
And we should say that is the lowest approval rating since former President George W. Bush's second term.
Yeah, and it's put that in further context, too. Bush in his second term wasn't running for re-election. Yeah. Here's the presidents who were running for re-election in our poll starting their re-election year. What was their approval rating? Bush was over 50. He won. Obama was almost at 50. He won. Trump 4 years ago was 46. He lost. Look how low Biden's number is compared to those predecessors at this point.
Wow. So they are animated. They're trying to figure out, looking at the old numbers, how can we fix this situation? How can we get these people back where they belong, firmly in the Biden camp, loving him, wanting to be with him, believing that he is the best of the best? And I think there's more to this than even that. So first off, let's just look at the headlines. There are a ton of headlines out there. The same refrain. Brett Baer provided an election update over at Fox. Trump versus Biden, Nikki Haley in the Republican primary, Super Tuesday and unions. In that soundbite, they're on video. They're talking about the poll numbers. They're running them down, trying to get the kind of engine rolling on whose fault is this. Now, I can tell you, if your poll numbers are low, it's your fault. Or is it? Because remember, we have a nonstop 24-hour-a-day machine running on behalf of Biden and the Democrats. Every single media outlet except for Fox and OAN and Newsmax and Salem News Channel, every other news media outlet that is of size is literally parroting the idea that the border's not open, crime's not up. You're experiencing financial prosperity. What do you mean oh my goodness, you're wrong. You must be listening to Republicans if you don't think things are great. So if they have that kind of a juggernaut going on 24 hours a day, why aren't Americans responding to this media onslaught? They're literally, it's like everywhere you go, the refrain, even among common everyday Democrats who are politically active, they've got their talking points. They're on the listserv. They know what it is that they're supposed to be saying. So why isn't it working? More on this. We will be getting into more on this. But Chris Hayes, why don't the polls reflect Biden's roaring economy? Republicans will not admit it to pollsters. It's Republicans' fault. Fox News' Ducey talked about Biden being up 50-44 on Trump in the latest Quinnipiac poll. Outlier, new trend. In other words, how could this be? Everybody clutch your pearls, grab your skirts. So I'll tell you why the polls are bad. Because Biden's a horrible president. Is that good enough for them? Maybe just clip this out and send it over to them and let them know that we figured it out. Newsflash at 11, he's a bad president and Americans are finally figuring that out. Or is it finally? I guess we could call it anything we want because the narrative is constantly shifting. We'll tell you the truth here, though. That's what's important about this. Americans in an election year understand what's going on. So we'll be back with more Stacey Washington Now after this.